to go to decide who is going to Cleveland. Capital One rewarding performance. If you hit 7 threes, you're probably going to be the rewarding performance.
She has done a great job, and she hit 7. She only took 9. So the percentages that she's shooting from the three-point line, the confidence that she entered this game with, and she was looking for her shot anytime it came to her to really open up things on the floor, and she delivered.
She's starting to set the tone for NC State when it comes to three-point land. They're shooting 50% from 3, 9 for 18, so they haven't been just running down the floor and jacking up threes.
In games that Texas has lost, what has been a problem? The opponents today that was knocked on the three-point shot. And that's what NC State has been able to do today.
27 points for Isaiah James. She had 29 points in the Sweet 16. She's had 20 or more points in now 4 of their last 6 games. And keep in mind, this is a player who was averaging about 9 points less per game last year.
When opportunity presents itself for those other 5 players, when they moved on, it gave Isaiah James even more of a chance to be an impact offensively for this Wolfpack team, and she's taking advantage.
We asked her, what's been the biggest change in your game? She said, I'm attacking more, and yeah, my three's falling a little bit better. A little bit. I think a lot better today, right? NC State is trying to run that clock off.
Schaefer didn't want that foul. It was just too late in the shot clock. He waited that long.
There are 10 seconds left on the shot clock, so now a fresh 20 for NC State. That's the 4th against Aaliyah Moore. When do you start fouling for Texas?
Well, I think you go for the steal right now. Gotta try to force a turnover. You can get that, but not now. 8 seconds into the shot clock.
Foul on Taylor Jones, her first. Well, it's been incredible, the heart this Texas program has shown. They could have crumbled when they lost their All-American point guard on December 27th. Roy Harmon went down with that ACL injury. Mick Chambers talked about it. It was in a shoot-around. He had to turn it around in 2 hours and get this team ready to play a basketball game. Their fight, their hustle, they've never given up on what this group can do. To get a lead 8 for the 3rd time under Vic.
Turning the keys over to a freshman. That's a good win on Big 12 Player of the Year.
Taylor Jones back up and in.
Now you got to foul. You got to lengthen this game. You got to foul right away.
So NC State was able to call a timeout, I think, before the foul. Yeah, so no foul whistle there. Still NC State basketball, 40.9 seconds to go. What an incredible day this has been. I mean, we knew this game was going to be tough, but NC State, I mean, they just came out with an edge. I mean, was Isaiah James setting the tone right from the start?
Well, that's what you've got to do. If you want to get to the Final Four, you have got to set the tone and come in with confidence. And James did exactly that. Her and Rivers both. Rivers knew she had to get the ball inside the defense, and James knew that she had to be ready to knock down shots when that opportunity presented itself. Batman and Robin, they did exactly that.
Which one's Batman, which one's Robin? We don't know. Sometimes it's changes.
It's changeable. They are interchangeable. Maybe they've got 2 Batmans.
Texas got a foul immediately.
See, Texas had to recognize they had only 1 more second on the shot clock, and NC State was in direct. She could have gotten a possible turnover there because there weren't those too many opportunities to cross the half-court line.
So they'll put Madison Hayes, who's a 70% free throw shooter, at the free throw line. NC State has shot 23 free throws today compared to just 11 for Texas.
away the paint from Texas, and then on the offensive end, getting downhill. They wanted to attack the pressure of Texas and getting those backdoor cuts or the penetrate in, kick for three, and that has really worked out well for the Wolfpack.
This NC State team took down the number 2 seed Stanford in the Sweet 16. They are less than 30 seconds away from taking down the number 1 seed and getting a date with South Carolina in the Final Four. So the Pack advanced the ball 28.1 seconds.
I think Texas has conceded.
A chip on their shoulder is paying off. Cleveland, you better get ready. The Wolves is coming back to the Final Four for the first time since 1998.
Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined by Stevie Nicol here in the studio. What an anticlimax, disappointing.
Disappointing. If it was disappointing, it would have been better.
Well, yes. So it finishes Manchester City 0, Arsenal 0 in the big game in England. It really was a letdown. No clear chances really for either side. Let's get some reaction, shall we, here from Arteta in a moment. But first, Manchester City's coach Pep Guardiola was asked what's the solution to defeating a low block.
Give someone. Play with 9. So, yeah, they defend well a lot. And surround early. And yeah, the patient and time, the pass, side, and you arrive. Defend really well. A lot of accumulation of play. Defend well and after with a lot of people.
We were outstanding. We had to go and put them under pressure, higher of the pitch. I think we were really good and faced with all difficulties. And when they are that good that they gave me this low block, and it's very difficult to get out of that. They drove a lot of players, and I think we're preventing the spaces really well. And that's a difficulty. 3 years is the first time they haven't scored at home in 3 years. So that's a very outstanding team that they are. And then the downside is that we have some big situations to score.
So what does all this mean? Well, it means that Liverpool are lovely life at the moment. They would come from behind to beat Brighton. They are 2 points clear of Arsenal, 3 clear of Manchester City. We'll talk about the ramifications of this result regarding the title race a little later on. But first, let's welcome in, Joey. Nader Manua joins us, Jan Argo Fjordtoft, who was at the game. Steve, I want to start with you. You used the word disappointing. That's exactly what it was from the Newcastle perspective.
Yeah, and I think that was down to Arsenal. But at the same time, can you blame Arsenal for basically keeping the tight ship? Not really. The fact is that defensively they were absolutely outstanding, as Arteta said. Unfortunately for them, because they were so deep, whenever they did get the chance to try and get forward, you got 70 yards to go. I mean, that's not easy. And consequently, they really didn't produce too many chances of any real note. They deserved the point for the way they defended. But I guess if you're City, you're disappointed that you couldn't break them down. But the fact is, when a team that defends as well as Arsenal do,
y por la otra contaminación que flota en el mar.
That's when they interviewed me after your shooting and they asked.
yeah, we all remember.
In the clubhouse afterward, grown men were weeping and sobbing and hugging. This is a terrible place for them. So to dominate the Astros like that with some spunk and some guts and some enthusiasm with Soto and Verdugo and this new vibe kind of group, that's a big way to start the season for the Yankees.
Soto is 9% main. Everything he touches turns to gold. 529 batting average. The man looks so confident up there, and I think it kind of is contagious for his ballpark.
He's the exact kind of hitter, and I agree with you, because this is the guy that the Yankees have always wanted. It's like the platonic ideal of the Yankee hitter. He takes every close pitch. He works his tough at bat. he makes the pitcher throw a strike. Does that remind you of the teams you covered in the late 90s?
Yeah, Bobby Abreu and Johnny Damon.
Exactly. That's the Yankee way, and he is so much the model of that. Of every hitter in Major League Baseball, he hasn't ever looked bad on a pitch practically, at least at this point in the season when he's hot. So not only is he a great star boost, but I agree with what you said. He sets a tone for the way that offense wants to function, and they're grinding pitchers so far this season.
He has only 2 strikeouts in 17 at-bats. I like that. His slugging is 765. His on-base is 600. But what about his defense? I think he's off to an amazing start defensively.
So this is interesting. I was there the first 2 games of this series at Minute Maid Park, and he, of course, won opening day with that great throw to the plate, cutting a guy down. And yeah, talking to scouts throughout the league, he's not a guy that's been known as a plus defender. You're losing something moving Aaron Judge out of right field, because Judge, who would make that kind of throw, Bruce, you've seen it many times. But Soto has worked so hard with Luis Rojas, the former Met manager, who's now the Yankee outfield coach, on all kinds of technique in the outfield, the routes he's taking, the footwork, the throws. And what you see as a result is what happened in that game, and he made some great catches throughout the course of the weekend, too.
He's making those sliding grabs.
Yeah.
I mean, not bad.
Not bad.
Now, Oswaldo Cabrera is a guy who says he learns from Soto.
How about that?
Great answer. He was asked about why he's doing better this year by Susan Waldman, and he said, I watched that guy. I learned from that guy. And look what it's doing. 7 for 16, 2 homers, 6 ribbies.
Here's the thing. Cabrera's always had the ability to get hot and overperform his profile a little bit. You know this guy, Bruce. He's the bubbliest, nicest, happiest guy to be here that you'll ever meet. And sometimes he just gets red hot like this. We saw it a couple years ago when he came up. He's versatile defensively. He can hit. Ultimately, he probably profiles as a utility guy on a good team. But a guy that you know is not going to be an automatic out when you have to plug in the lineup when there's an injury. And clearly far from it.
A quick look at the standings. I know it's early, but what I want to point out here is the division's pretty good right now, and everybody's 500 or better, and you know that the Orioles have a dynamite lineup, and you know that the Blue Jays will be the Blue Jays, and the Rays always figure it out. So this is not something that's going to be easy.
No, and you know, it may seem like a simple thing to say, Bruce, but talk about how important are early season wins and early season Super Bowl. Maybe not that important, but the wins count. And some of the division or some of these playoff spots in this league, you saw the quality of the competition could come down to a game or 2. So those 4 wins are 4 wins that are going to be in the bank until the beginning of October, right?
Exactly. And you want to bank those Mets opening day.
Not banking those.
Oh my gosh. It was a day when you walked out and said, where is the offense? You got 1 homer for Starling Marte, and that was it. And people were frustrated when they walked out of there. It was cold. It was raining. Where is the offense in general? Only 7 or 8 runs in these first 3 ball games.
Well, if you want to look for positives, Francisco Alvarez looks pretty good. Starling Marte's made some good contact, and that is a big piece for them, obviously. They got nothing from him last year. But the lineup has reminded us of how feast and famine they were last year. Guys like Francisco Lindor, who's a terrific ball player, Brandon Nimmo, who's a terrific ball player. These guys do go in and out. They always get their hits. The numbers look good. They both play good defense, especially Lindor, and they're good leaders. And even Pete Alonso can sometimes go in and out of the hot and cold. So this isn't an offense like the Yankees' offense this year that's going to grind you down as an opposing pitcher day in and day out. They're going to have these periods. Now, it's worth pointing out, of course, that J.D. Martinez is getting ready in AAA, and nobody with the team
That's
suiting
a
up.
spot.
That will help.
When you look at Saturday's game, I think the fireworks are the one thing that we look at. I mean, that's what everybody's talking about. That Nancy Carlos Mendoza being suspended just to stay in game as a manager. What do you make of this?
Well, look, the Mets got themselves a little embarrassed by Rhys Hoskins. They might have been trying to throw at him, didn't hit him. He ended up getting a pretty good shot into Jeff McNeil, saying he complains about everything. The alpha dog in this series was clearly Rhys Hoskins and the Milwaukee Brewers, and it just wasn't a feel-good debut for the Mets and Mendoza in any way. I think Mendoza is going to be a great manager for this team, but obviously not the way he wanted to start. Wins and losses-wise or tone-wise, like the way that whole little fracas went.
Do you think Mendoza's ready for the challenge? Because I think he is.
Oh, yeah.
When I talked to him in spring training, it was a lot different in terms of maturity than to other managers I've seen get a first start.
Because I could not agree with you more. I knew this guy as the bench coach for the Yankees. He was great. He's a presence. He's respected. He's tough. I thought he'd be that way as a manager with the Mets. But you do wonder, how's the guy going to be when he gets into that #1 job? You never know. We haven't seen it yet in New York or even at the big league level with Carlos Mendoza. I was there for a bunch of spring training, as you were. He is up for this. He is a man ready to meet this moment. The players respect him. He's fun, but he's also has accountability that he stresses. He's really smart about the game. I believe that however they do this year, the Mets are in really good hands long-term with Mendoza.
Hey, let's transition from Andy Martino, the reporter, to Andy Martino, the author. His new book is entitled The Yankee Way, The Untold Story of the Brian Cashman Era. It's published by Doubleday Books. Andy, what do you hope to accomplish by writing this book? What were you looking for?
Well, Bruce, what I was looking to do is tell what I hope is a definitive version of the Brian Cashman story. And not just him, but the Yankees during the time of his tenure. He's been with his team since he was a 19-year-old intern in 1987. And for the people that he learned from, like Gene Michael, the great ex-GM, scout, player, everything for the Yankees, had been with the team since the 70s. So the Yankees have a continuity through Cashman that we don't see anywhere else in the game. So what that does, Bruce, is not only tell us a story of this iconic franchise and the big personalities, Jeter versus A-Rod, Cashman versus Jeter, Cashman versus Joe Torre at times, A-Rod and Stanton, who were actually friends, all these huge personalities and how they get along or don't get along. There's that story, but there's also a bigger story about the way the game itself has changed, because the way a franchise and a front office is run now could not be more different from the way it was in the 80s. And Cashman himself is the through line for how that game has changed. So that's what I wanted to tell in that story.
Why do Cashman's peers think he is outstanding, and why do the fans dislike him?
It's interesting, the difference in perception. You know, I asked Billy Beane, well, I think because of Brad Pitt and Michael Lewis is the most famous GM in the sport, I said, do you think Brian Cashman's a Hall of Famer? And Beane actually started yelling at me in this interview. He said, no offense, but I think that's a ridiculous question. Every time you say that man's name, you should say future Hall of Famer Brian Cashman, as if he were a great player or whatnot. And he said, I'll take it a step further. This is Billy Beane speaking. I think Brian Cashman is the greatest executive in the history of the sport. He told me that I think that Brian Cashman is the Tom Brady of executives. Why does he think that? And others feel this way too, because he has never had a losing season in that job, which absolutely astounds executives who may be very accomplished, but they go into that rebuilding or that retooling, and you just can't do that in New York.
What kind of access did you have for this book?
You know, the deal I made with Cashman was he would spend a good amount of time with me and open up over a period of a year or so, as long as I interviewed everyone else I could and did not present this as his book or his memoir. And I said, that's great. That's exactly what I want to do. I don't want to write your version. I want to write my reported version. So Cashman gave me a lot of time over the course of that year and a half that I was working on it. But again, I spoke to every executive that he's worked with that I could possibly reach, players, agents, scouts, rivals, anyone I could to really build up this story, not from his perspective, but from that objectively reported perspective, which to his credit is what he wanted.
I like that white-knuckle approach the Yankees used during the courting of Aaron Judge during the free agency. Thanks for coming in, my friend. Good luck with the book, and we'll see you down the road.
Thank you, Bruce.
Check out The Yankee Way, the untold inside story of the Brian Cashman era. It's written by Andy Martino, who also delivered a gem that cheated the definitive account of the Astros sign-stealing scandal. Check out Andy's writing, reporting, and analysis all season long on SNY. Coming up next, the insightful and comedic duo, Vic Parisi and John Fanta, join me to talk college basketball as we head to the Final Four. Then it's time for the Spectrum Speedy Connection of the Week. And Monday night at the Garden, Dante DiVincenzo was unconscious from behind the arc. The Knick sharpshooter buried 11 trifectas to set the new single-game franchise record. By the way, he now holds the Knicks record for three-pointers in a single season. What an off-season pickup he has been. Spectrum One with internet for $39.99 a month, plus advanced Wi-Fi and an unlimited mobile line, both free for 12 months.
Sports Final is brought to you by Spectrum One with internet for $39.99 a month, plus advanced Wi-Fi and unlimited mobile line, both free for 12 months.
Now's the time to switch to Spectrum. Get fast and reliable Spectrum internet for just $39.99 a month. Plus advanced Wi-Fi for enhanced security and privacy. And one unlimited mobile line, both free for 12 months. And now get a 2-year price guarantee when you level up your internet speeds. Internet, advanced Wi-Fi, and mobile. Get it all with Spectrum One. Ask how you can get a Visa rewards card up to $500 when you add more mobile lines. Scan the call now.
When you truly show up ready, there's no need to show off. The BMW X3 and X5 are defined by world-class design and engineering. Take on the energizing utility of the adventurous BMW X3 or balance luxury, versatility with dynamic X5. Excellence runs in the family, but that's what you'd expect from the ultimate driving machine. Hurry and release the 2024 BMW X3 X5 $39 for $649 per month.
In every community, there are people fulfilling a calling that's more than work.
They're direct support professionals. They're the champions who empower people to achieve their full potential.
It's not just a job. It's about making a real difference.
Join us in a career where your impact means you help someone grow and learn.
Where you're not just going to work,
You're becoming a part of someone's world.
become a direct support professional.
And build a career with meaning.
It's more than work.
It's your calling.
Here's what you do. This spring is the perfect time to get away.
Do it like this.
With a great deal on your favorite Hyundai model. All backed by America's best warranty, plus 3 years or 36,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. Add more joy to your journey at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get in and get away now before these deals are gone. Lease a Hyundai Elantra for only $179 a month, or get up to $1,000 bonus cash. Hurry, offers end soon.
Live from Studio 3B in Rockefeller Center, you're watching Sports Final on NBC for New York. Here's your host, Bruce Beck.
Alabama is going to the Final Four for the first time ever. Purdue for the first time since 1980. NC State for the first time since 1983. UConn for the first time since last year. On that note, let's bring in our entertaining March Madness duo. Vin Parisi and John Fanta of Fox Sports. Vinny is also a regular at SNY and our Sports Final Insider. John is the host of Beat the Queen Shootout. Guys, welcome back. How do you explain a 30-0 run by UConn against powerful Illinois? Who wants to start?
It's absurd what Connecticut is doing right now, Bruce, and it's great to be with you guys talking March Madness. To win all 4 your NCAA tournament games by 30-plus points, we are watching history form from this team. And the fact that they shot 10 for 30 in the first half against Illinois, that Tristan Newton, an AP first-team All-American, didn't even make a shot in the Elite Eight game, and you win in that commanding fashion, it's unbelievable what this UConn team is doing.
Well, and this is another the trend that we're seeing now throughout this tournament is that, yeah, they check every box, they don't have a weakness, but they don't check every box in any of these wins. 2 or 3 of their key guys could be cold, and other guys pick up the slack. And that is how strong Danny Hurley's ball club is. If it's not clinging on the inside, then the guards pick it up. They have stretches this tournament to where they're not stroking the free ball. Then Caravan is the X factor. It just goes on and on and on.
They've won 4 games by 111 points. They have set the all-time NCAA tournament record with 10 straight games of at least 10+. And they just handed Illinois the worst margin of a loss in an NCAA tournament game that the Illini have taken since 1949 against Adolph Rupp and Kentucky. It is unbelievable what we are watching right now from this team. And Bruce, to me, what we're watching is the arrival of Dan Hurley as one of the faces in college basketball. Maestro.
Listen, he's one of the best out there. I'll tell you what's fascinating, not the fact that John just got Adolph Rupp into the broadcast, is that go back to the first round game. Rick Pitino, Iona Gales. It's close at the half in Albany, first half. Last year. I don't think there's been another close half since. If you look at last year's run to this year's run, back-to-back domination.
I met Adolph Rupp at Pocono Mountain Basketball Camp many years ago, talking about Issel against Maravich. I'll tell you that another day. No time for that right now. Danny Hurley, when you look at what he's doing, Vin, I just want to talk a little bit more about it. Is he the best coach in college basketball?
Well, it's hard to argue against that right now. I mean, this is one of the best rebuild, reload jobs. He's got it back to that blue blood status. Obviously, he took over Mason history from what Jim Calhoun built. But think about this. None of this makes sense when you're talking about losing your top 3 or 4 key pieces to the puzzle off a national championship run, and you're better.
He is 41-3 in the last 44 games he has coached in.
Think about that.
He said that last night, that before the game he was crying. And he said, I was crying because I was thinking about the pressure, but also the perfect marriage. Dan Hurley's a very intense guy. He gets that from his father, Bob Sr. And the Hurley family in general. Intensity, but champions. That will, Bruce Beck, fits the Connecticut fan base to a T. And he said, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that I get to be this guy. I don't think there's a better match in college sports right now than Dan Hurley to UConn.
Nice presentation. You should be a keynote or commencement speaker. All right, let's talk Alabama, guys. This is the matchup against UConn. They can shoot the 3. Coming off the ball game with Mark Sears making 7 for 14 from downtown. Do they have a chance if they could shoot 16 for 36 from three-point land?
Well, hey, listen, I'll tell you this. And, they run it a little bit different. They call it like go cuts to where they space you out. They're like 4, 5, 6 feet behind the three-point line, and you're almost catching it on the move, ready to shoot. And I'll tell you what, if they have a chance to keep this one close, take the clinging factor from the inside out of it. It's spacing Connecticut out, penetrative pitch, spray it to the shooters on the perimeter. But I think Rick Pitino just said this in an interview the other day from the coach. Your shooting has to be at a high level, and Connecticut's has to be at a cold level.
It's possible. They had 20 assists in that win over Clemson. They share the ball. It really pops around in their offense. Jaron Stevenson comes off the bench and goes for a big night. It's not just Mark Sears. Hey, there's a local flair. Aaron Estrada, a transfer from Hofstra, is now on the Final Four.
When was it before that?
Before the Pride? St. Peter's?
Shaheen Holloway. Wow, a little stop out west to Oregon.
You can host a game. By the way, Alabama looks 6'10 and 6'11. That helps. All right, let's go to the redemption tour. Purdue. Matt Painter finally got the thing off his back.
No, and to see Gene Katie emotional there today. I mean, this fan base has been waiting for this. Think about this team. The last 2 years, their season ends at the hands of FPU and St. Peter's. Zach Edey, the first back-to-back National Player of the Year since Ralph Sampson. They were poised to do this, and now it's bring it home. And as it gets better, you don't need the ladder.
That's very funny. The first guy since 1990 to get a 40 and 15 game in the NCAA tournament.
And he is the first player to lead all of Division I in scoring and then be in a Final Four since Oscar Robertson in 1960. We are watching one of the greatest college basketball players ever.
What do you think you have with the writers, with Zach Edey? And I'm not counting him because he's a multi-talented. He's just a whole. He's a whole.
Just a versatility.
Yes. Is this, Zach Edey getting a whistle? He's tough to officiate. He's the hardest player to guard in the country. That's why they obsess with the officials. And then today, when you see the up and unders, the deeper jump hooks, it's special.
NC State might be the greatest story in this tournament this year. They